If and when it ever gets here.
Maybe.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Hello, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead trying to set this up. If it comes on in. Where's my chat?
The chat's disappeared. Just minimize. Oh, there it comes. There it is. There it is. Okay.
All right. First thing I see is Hills Mills. I'm having trouble seeing with my glass. I got to scoot up or something.
Yeah, you are. Let me see if I can't line this up a little bit.
You getting me out of the way?
I'm trying to get you into the picture. You're out of the picture.
All right.
Whew, okay, guys. It has been a week
Hot.
of heat. Ungodly heat. I'm telling you, this is the kind of heat you don't want to have to live through. I mean, it's been bad.
Yeah, what was it? Most days it was 100 and...
Most every day was 115 minimum.
And one day it got up to
126 one day.
That's heat index.
Yeah, that's the
Y'all
heat
don't
index.
chew us out about the temperature. In the south, the heat index, what we go by, because the humidity's crazy. It's like
I mean,
probably 90%.
Let me explain to you what it's like when we walk out the door. Now, our house stays set on 78 degrees on the inside. When we walk out our door to go outside, picture your oven on your stove. You're roasting a turkey or something at 400 degrees, and you open the door on the oven to see what's inside it, and all that heat rushes and hits you in the face. That's what we experience when we walk out the door of our house every morning.
Yeah, most mornings the heat index was already in the 90s.
Yes.
And so when we walk out between the humidity, and we have a lot of humidity here first thing in the morning. There's one period of the morning, probably 30, 45 minutes after daybreak.
Yeah.
That you just feel all that humidity just coming and clinging, and you're like, I can't stand it. But and then all of a sudden it just goes away.
Yeah, there's a period around 7:30 in the morning that all of a sudden the humidity kind of like dissipates for just a little while, but then it comes back in just a little while after that. Oh, everybody's telling me happy birthday. I forgot all about my birthday.
I knew you did. We want to remember Brian from Flannel Farms in our prayers tonight. He's having open heart surgery. I did know that.
That's tomorrow, ain't it?
Tomorrow's Sunday.
I think no, it's Monday. He's having it Monday.
Yeah,
that's right. He's having it Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny's birthday is the 24th, and our anniversary was the 19th.
Yes.
So.
Oh.
That's why they're all telling you happy anniversary and happy birthday.
Granny Kansas says she was 80 on July the 13th. Happy birthday to you, too.
Let's see. Howdy y'all still 100 degrees in Texas after 9 p.m. It's been that, as far as the heat index, has been up over 100 at 9 several days this week.
Let's just put it this way. We went coon hunting. We go coon hunting every night.
Now, because we're
trying to salvage our Danny corn, and we went out at 9 o'clock last night, and at 9 o'clock last night, the heat index was still 111.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so oppressive.
We rode on the Ranger, and you got a coon last night.
Yeah, I killed a coon last night.
And another one the night before.
Yeah, I've got 4 so far.
Yeah, and 1 possum.
Possum.
So this week I know you've got 2 coons, or 3.
I got 3 this week.
And 1 last week.
And 1 last week.
I think that's what it was.
And then a possum the week before.
Yeah.
Georgia gal said her birthday is the 25th. So.
About how many cobs did you get per stalk on your Danny corn?
Usually 2. There was 1 yesterday I got 3 on. No, it's this morning I got 1. I had 3 on 1 this morning. Most of them have 2, but if they have 1, it's really big. As a matter of fact, I've got some in the dining room in there that's
My dining room is a drying room right now.
Well, guys, I'm trying to keep my word about having some Danny corn seed to sell. So every couple of days, I harvest about 100 ears, and I bring them home. And Miss Wanda's dining room is a drying room right now because I'm scared to do anything with them. I'm afraid I'll lose them.
The problem is, anywhere we put it outside, if we put it in the greenhouse or in the barn or in the shop or anywhere like that, the humidity is still so high here right now that it's not drying properly.
It might start sprouting.
And so we're desperate to not let it sprout, and we ended up putting it in the house, and the unit pulls that moisture out. But now it just rained. That's why we're a little bit late, because we had rain from what? 4:30?
About 4:30 until just about
6:30, wasn't it?
About
quarter till 6, 6:15.
No, it just quit just a little while ago. Probably about 6:45, something like that. Yeah.
But we've had rain, so now we know what's in the field is going to be wet.
Yeah.
And that's going to create even more problems. Y'all, we've been fighting this corn since the day we planted it. Yeah, but it's beautiful. It
is. Me and Wanda this morning, we took 3 5-gallon buckets with us when we went over there, and we said, okay, we're going to fill these 5-gallon buckets up. We're going to walk down the rows and pick. We didn't even go, 10, 15 feet? Maybe. We filled up, and we didn't pick everything.
That was probably, about 100 ears, 150?
It's probably close to 100 ears, yeah.
At least. Y'all, there has to be at least 1,000 ears. And the coons and possums has done got 200.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I knew they'd gotten some, but when you look at it as the whole field, and there's 1,000 ears or more, they've done got maybe close to 200.
Yeah, they probably eat close to 200 of them.
And that's crazy.
But we were just standing there, and one of the stalks just broke and fell. The ears of corn on it is so heavy that it just broke and fell over. And I don't know what else to do. It's not really ready to dry enough.
We forgot to check our pineapple today.
We did.
Oh man, I could have a pineapple for y'all to see tonight.
That is so true. Oh my goodness. It'll be up to you if you want to run check it. I mean, you can.
I need to run out and do that.
You need to go check that pineapple, because that was guys, I'm sorry, Miss Wanda has got to go check a pineapple. We've been watching this thing and babying it. We got 4 of them, and we've been trying to make sure nothing happens to them. And literally, the rain a while ago has us so out of kilter right now because we haven't had any rain in forever, and so she's gone. She's going to go check that pineapple. Our food means that much to it. Could you plant your corn later so you can do a fall-winter harvest, or does it die in the heat? Yeah, where we're at, the heat is just so bad, and the worms. I mean, most people don't understand this. When you plant corn, there is a particular period in time where if you plant it a little too late, the corn earworms will get in it and actually eat it up. So far, all the ears that we've harvested, out of several hundred of them, we've not found one cob of corn that has any worm sign on it whatsoever. I mean, every one of them are perfect ears, except for maybe 10 or 15 of them that the kernels on one side didn't really develop all the way, and that's a pollination issue. That has nothing to do with, with anything else other than just a pollination issue. But no, we do not plant anything beyond a certain point with our corn. Danny, do y'all grow national pickling cukes? Yes, we do. We grow a couple of different varieties. We grow straight 8s, and we grow the national pickling. Now, we don't grow them together. If we want to save our seeds, we try to make sure we have some here at Deep South. And that's the beauty of having Pecan Grove right now. We can plant certain varieties at Pecan Grove, and we can plant certain varieties here. Like here, I have the Star of David okra planted here. I'm saving it for seeds. At Pecan Grove, I have the white okra over there that we're letting go for seeds over there. There's no danger of cross-pollination. There's no one around us that even gardens, so I'm not worried about it. And the same thing with the corn. I could actually plant one variety here and one variety over at Pecan Grove and not have to worry. No cross-pollination because we're so far apart. I mean, and I've checked the neighborhood around where Pecan Grove is, and I don't see a garden anywhere by anybody. So I don't have to really worry too much about any kind of cross-pollination issues. Danny, this is Pamela, says, can you recommend a good grinder for things like Danny corn or wheat berries? There is so many different ones out there. It just depends on your personal preference. If you want, we'll do one by hand. You know, there's I've got the antique Black Hawk that I really like for that. It does a really good job. Now it's a steel burr. It's not stone. But there are lots of little electric ones you can get. There's a Wonder Mill. We actually bought a Wonder Mill and tried it. We really didn't care for it. I mean, it done a good job, but it was not what we wanted. We could not do a large enough volume to satisfy us. So we actually turned around and sold it after we used it a couple of times. You know, it's all up to you, really, about it. You just have to do some research on it. Let's see here. Carolyn Moore says, can I plant a second Danny corn crop in Newberry, Florida? I don't know where Newberry, Florida is. I don't know if it's North Florida, Central Florida, South Florida. I really don't know. That's a hard one for me to answer. Let's see. Hutch says they're freeze drying 2 bushels of tomatoes this weekend, making tomato powder. That's a great thing to have, is some tomato powder. I mean, it's really, really good. Oh no! Oh no, guys! You're gonna freak out. I'm gonna tell you. This is awesome. I want y'all to look at this. Ms. Wanda just went to our little greenhouse and picked this. Now it's a little
as big as my head.
That's saying a lot.
Smell.
Oh.
The greenhouse is smelling like that.
How close are the others?
One little one is turning, and then we've got a little bitty one starting, and another one that I think will be a while. It's small,
okay.
But this was the biggest.
Now this is a little funny shaped.
It's got a weird
shape. I don't know what the deal was with that, unless it was water issue or something. But,
well, you know, it was so hot for a while.
Yeah, but guys, I mean, you think this, look, my arm is, look how long that thing is, from my elbow up to, I mean, that's a big old pine. Look, I'm putting my hands around it. That's.
All right, I got hot, y'all. We got to have
Look
fans.
at that. That thing probably weighs, what, 10 pounds?
It's heavy.
I don't think I've ever done one that heavy.
Well, look, turn my scale, put it down here.
Okay.
I got a scale here. I'm fixing to find out.
I don't know how you operate this thing.
All right, just let it sit there a minute.
This is a new one for us. Y'all are seeing it firsthand. Right
We can see how much this thing weighs.
Here we go.
Well, they can't see it, but 5 pounds and 3 ounces. 3.1 ounces.
Yeah, 5 pounds, 3.1 ounces.
Wow.
How many pineapples do you come across that weigh 5 pounds?
I'm talking, this joker's heavy.
Wow.
Heavy. Oh, and it ripened on the vine, on the plant.
Wow. I mean, this was kind of a little malformed, I guess, but.
But in this heat, it's on the back of your barn.
Yeah, it's in the greenhouse that gets up to like 120 degrees in there all the time, or more all the time. And we found out that one is the greenhouse that the pineapples love the most.
So we're pineapple farmers.
Yeah.
That's our pineapple farm, and it's got, what's that stuff called?
What?
On the.
Oh, it's got Tough Tex.
Yeah, the Tough Tex panels that we did. Go back and watch our old. Building a greenhouse. You'll have to type in Deep South Homestead greenhouse on the side of a barn or something like that. I done forgot how it's worded.
Kayla says she's got one almost ready. Can't wait. Oh man.
Scratch Made Homestead. Leslie had one this week.
Oh, so they actually got one going.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it great? That the people. I mean, we're freaking out. Now see, we'll save the top from this one again, and we'll replant it because we're actually cultivating our very own variety here at Deep South Homestead.
Oh, they want to know this shirt. We didn't have any made. Somebody sent them to us.
I don't know if I can.
What's on the back?
I don't know if I can turn around.
Okay, I don't know if he can either. Go down. Come my way.
Okay.
It says it all depends on what you do with the dirt. Deep South Homestead.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I'm getting too old for this, guys.
That was our saying. It all depends on what you do with the dirt.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any of these shirts made. We just had somebody send us one, and we did have some tumblers, but I hadn't been doing the tumblers. People thought I was kind of outrageous because I was charging $40 for the tumblers, and they're a good insulated tumbler.
Oh yeah, they're
that
real good.
Included shipping, so I think $40 was pretty reasonable. But anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to write a book or make a video on each vegetable and fruit and how to grow it and what it needs, and we've got a lot of videos on a lot of stuff like that. How do you grow a pineapple?
Hold on. Will Be Cool says, did y'all get any rain this afternoon? Got a good sprinkle in McHenry. I hadn't looked at the gauge to see how much we actually got. I mean, we got a good shower. Let me put it that way.
To grow a pineapple, Crazy Days has a whole series of videos.
Yeah.
I show from where we harvest the pineapple, what Danny does to the top, how he lets it grow, when he lets it grow, how he plants it. We've got the whole videos. There's a whole series on Crazy Days. Look up Growing Pineapples Crazy Days.
SG says, hi all, it's raining in Arizona. Look, I got some good news for you, my friend. You're going to have your monsoon season's fixing to start up here. It's a little late, but it's fixing to start up, and you're going to really get a lot of rain this time.
I'm itching from going in there now.
You're going to get a lot of rain.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know what I use pineapple sage for. I add the flowers to salads lots of times. Sometimes I'll add the leaves to it. This fall, I hope to use it in sausage. That was something I wanted to use in our sausage, was a pineapple sage.
Author and illustrator B.J. Lapierre, B.J. Moore, are the pineapple plants self-pollinating, or do you pollinate them yourself? Neither, because very few pineapples, the seeds are ever viable, so we really don't worry about it. I mean, it would take too long to grow a pineapple from a seed. We just use the tops off of it, and we have really good success. We got tons of videos out there showing how to plant the tops.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody asked this a while ago. Chicken Checker 19 says, should you prune your pecan trees, and if so, how? All we ever do on our pecan trees is if a limb gets too low to the ground where we can't get under it with a tractor, we'll cut it off. Now, lots of people back in the day would wait till they got up like 10 feet tall, and they would cut the tops out of them so they would branch out. It all depends on whether you want a tree that's got a long pointed top or you want one that branches out. I mean, it's really your call.
Yeah. I'm itching from going in there, boy. I don't know.
Well, that's all them little points on them things reaching out, sticking in you.
They did. They stuck me all over, and now I'm itching. How long do you process the water bath squash with potatoes?
You can't water bath squash with potatoes. The only thing you can water bath is acid plants, fruits. I'm sorry.
Squash and potatoes have to be
pressure can for an hour and a half for potatoes.
No.
90 minutes for potatoes.
No. Potatoes is 40 minutes, I think.
Are you sure?
And squash is 40 minutes.
I know squash was 40 minutes, but I thought potatoes went longer.
Sweet potatoes are an
sweet potatoes are an hour and a half, or 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Regular potatoes, I think, is 40.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me. I don't have a book in my hand. I grab the book when I start stuff. Always pressure can any vegetables.
Yes, always pressure can a vegetable. Do not ever.
If you're doing tomatoes, Miss Lippy has a good video talking about tomatoes. You can water bath tomatoes, but when you add peppers and onions and that kind of stuff, those are vegetables.
Yep.
So now you gotta pressure can the tomatoes because you added vegetables into it. So y'all need to learn your canning 101. Let's see what else we got going on. I don't even remember.
Oh man, this has been one of the week. This was our anniversary week.
We're just still kind of.
We spent most of the week at Pecan Grove, just dilly-dallying, staying a lot in the Danny corn, doing a lot of coon hunting at night, trying to, protect our corn. But we mainly spent most of our week over there, and had a blast, I might add.
So Kelly wants to know, she said, for those of us who use city water for our gardens, do you think it's safe?
No, I don't believe in using chlorine. Chlorine is bleach, and they put bleach in the water. They got fluoride in the water. They got I think there's 2 or 3 other different chemicals that they put in the water, and I do not advocate putting that on a plant at all. I would set up me something to collect rainwater, even though rainwater now is probably not much safer. Yeah. But at least
they do make filters.
They got filters that you can put on your stuff to keep the chemicals out.
And if that's all you can do, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's the way I would look at it. But it does add something to your food.
Yeah.
But most people use that water, out of a
Gene Carvin says, "What is Miss Lippy?"
Lippy.
It's Lippy. Lippy.
Miss Lippy, say something in here.
She's got a YouTube channel.
Well, she's got a toothache, y'all. She may not be in here much. Her tooth is bothering her, so.
Okay, there's Southern Comfort Homestead says, can you take pink eye purple hulls, put into the freezer without blanching until ready to be canned?
Yes, I do that all the time.
We do it all the time. When you start blanching something ahead of time and you put it in the freezer, what you end up with is they all stick together and they turn to mush.
How did back in the day save their veggies? Well, peas and beans, they let them dry on the vine.
Yes.
And they had dried peas and beans. Corn, they let dry.
Yes.
And then they used it for cornmeal and grits and things like that. Mostly they ate fresh. And
they ate in season.
It was gone.
They ate in season.
Yeah.
Now they did hang some things up to dry. Leather breeches, stuff like that. Beans, some of them, they hung them up to dry. They made candies and different things out of some things. I mean.
And they use vinegar.
Yes.
A lot of things they use.
They fermented
vinegar.
Lots of things like cabbage, different things like that. They fermented all of it. Okra, pickles. They fermented all this stuff with vinegar.
Yes, Kayla, you can take those side shoots off and start a new pineapple plant.
Yes.
Once the pineapple makes its pineapple, the plant itself starts putting babies on.
It'll never make another pineapple. You have to take all the babies off and just get the plant out of there and just start over again.
And somebody asked about the ones at Pecan Grove. I lost one. They went through 2 freezes after I put them out. I lost one. I think there's 7 or 8 left, but they're not making pineapples. They're just there.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes it takes 3 to 4 years. So I don't know how long it's going to take.
It depends on how you do it. It usually takes about 2 to 3 years, but if you do it right, you can, and you get a cycle going, you'll get pineapples every year. We've got ours now to where we get pineapples every year. That lady wanted to know how does she watch Miss Lippy's tomato videos?
It's Miss MS Lippy, Lippy. That's her channel name on YouTube, and type in that Miss Lippy and then tomatoes and it should pop up. Dee, can you put Miss Lippy's channel link in the description? I think she's probably laying down because her tooth was giving her fits earlier. So, but she's usually on here. Or Miss Allison, if Allison's in here, y'all can put Lippy's link in there. How do you make vinegar? Well, I made some one year from the pears.
You can
once
use
I
the-
used.
You
once
can use
I,
the peelings off of pears. You can use the peelings off of apples.
Yeah.
It's you just let them ferment. Really, you just
I can't remember. You got to add some sugar, right?
yeah you add sugar to it to let it ferment.
And water, and I don't quote me because I don't remember the whole process. I did it about 3 years ago, and I didn't video it or anything. I just made it. But if you want some good vinegar recipes, go see Rain Country. Heidi does a lot of vinegars,
Yeah.
and she shows you how to make vinegars out of everything.
Susie Q says, what fertilizer do y'all use on your pineapples? Actually, to be honest with you, we use very little. We've got pretty rich dirt in the soil in our containers, because they're all containers. Everything we got is in containers, all the pineapples. They're in mineral tubs, cattle mineral tubs at that. And occasionally we'll put a little bit of triple 13 in them or something like that, or some 824-24. And biggest thing, we just water them. That is the biggest issue.
Okay, somebody who says, can you water bath applesauce? Yes.
Yes, you can water bath
Most all
applesauce.
your fruits can be water bathed. But now if you add something to it, make sure it's not a vegetable type thing that has to be pressure canned.
John Cronin, greetings from Ireland.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. John.
Let's see, where are we at now?
Let's see.
Somebody said they had made apple cider vinegar apple cider and strawberry vinegar.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use a lot of different fruits to make vinegars.
Let's see.
How do you make vinegar in Florida?
You make it the same way in Florida, you make it anywhere else. I mean, it's no.
But go watch Heidi's video. She
Yeah.
she does a lot of vinegars because she uses quite a variety of them.
John Hendrickson says, Mr. John says, how many pineapple plants per tub? We put 1 per tub.
Yeah, Danny had 1 or 2 that got an extra one stuck in there because we had so many babies, we just jammed one in there. And the second one either just stays little because the one that grows big overpowers the other one.
Danny, are you considering planting any peaches and cream for eating next year? No, we don't.
We don't do a lot of corn.
We don't do a lot of sweet corn, and if we do, we use Storal Evergreen because it's an heirloom. We don't really do hybrids too much because if we decide we want to save the seed from some of them, we do, and the Storal Evergreen has really done well for us being an open pollinated heirloom sweet corn.
DJ, he wants to know, do you grow radishes? Any tips? Don't ask me for no tips. I kill every radish.
Wanda
I
cannot
plant.
grow a radish to save her life.
It makes me mad because I want radishes.
Yeah, radishes, she doesn't understand that you have to thin them out, you know, and
I plant too thick.
and she plants them way too thick, and
They all come up.
Oh, yeah.
About this tall, but like hair on. And Dan, the only time I've had radishes, he went through when I wasn't looking and thinned them all out.
Yeah. Arthur Leslie said, my son sends greetings from Kuwait.
Well, hello.
Now, I know he's experiencing some heat over there, because that is
Ooh.
one hot place. I guarantee you, that is a hot place.
All right, so Whistling Freedom wants to know, when will Danny Corn be for sale on Etsy, please? We're going to announce on a live stream.
Yeah.
In about, it'll be at least 3
Well, see,
to 4 weeks.
I like to run my corn through the freezer for 2 weeks to make sure any insects has been killed in it, so you don't have to worry about weevils in it or anything like that. It'll store for years and years after that. So we've got the 2-week period to run through, plus I got to make sure it's really dry good before I put it in the freezer. Then we have to bring it back to room temperature before we ever put it out on the market.
I've got everything coming to be able to ship Danny Corn out. The
Yep.
envelopes, the what do you call them? Printer
Labels, everything.
The little seed envelopes, everything ready. It'll be here this week, but it's a process. And then when he gets it all room temperature after it's all been done, Somebody's got to count seed, and Wanda hates.
Wanda hates counting seed. I count every one of it. She doesn't.
If y'all get it from me, I take a handful and dump it in there and say, "Oh, that's about it," and I send it off. I do not count.
Reap what you sow. Garden says, Danny, can I be able to grow dwarf banana trees in the greenhouse? Yeah, we grow them in ours. Yeah, we've got the Kavanaugh. I believe that's what they call it. Cavendish. Kavanaugh is the company I used to work for. Cavendish bananas is what we have, and they do grow. Yeah.
Somebody wants to know. Double A says, how are your pecan treetops doing?
My pecan treetops.
Oh, he's the one with the drone. He wants to know, I think, maybe coming from a top view. We have not played with the drone.
No,
we've not had time. But and my son hadn't been back out here to play with the drone. But yeah, the treetops are doing good because we're looking from this way up, and we were sitting admiring a lot of pecan trees.
Nadia says, Danny and Wanda, did you hear India not going to ship rice?
Yes.
Yes, we. Matter of fact, there's a lot of countries now that's not going to be shipping any more vegetables from their country or any grains or anything because they need it for their own countries.
Okay, and I'm gonna have to order from McCaskill because I'm doing this. We get our rice, the basmati rice, from McCaskill Family Farms. It's grown in Braggadocio, Missouri. It is organic. You don't have to worry about it. It is the United States grown, USA.
Yeah.
So McCaskill Family Farms. Tell them Deep South sent you.
Nancy wants to know, will you be selling Danny corn by the pound?
Nope.
No. We do not sell it by the pound. We try to make sure everybody gets a free chance at it. And I don't care how many packs you buy.
Well, there probably will be a limit there because I don't want somebody ordering.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to come in there and get 15 or 20 packs and nobody else.
Probably a limit of 2 or 3.
I'd probably go 4.
4?
I'd probably say 4 or 5 packs because that'll give you enough to plant a really pretty good size patch of corn. Cause
there will be some limit.
Yeah, Danny corn has to be planted about every 16 inches apart in order for it to grow to maturity like it needs to. Now, I like to put mine 24 inches apart. 16 would be the minimum that I would say that it needs to be. Now, this year, mine is planted about every 10 to 12 inches, just simply because I wanted to get enough seeds out to make sure everybody had an opportunity. And plus, we had some to run for our grist mill and everything. I wasn't looking for necessarily the large ears. I was looking for more ears so I would have seeds, and I actually ended up with super huge ears this year, which blew my mind.
Got one of those little things in my finger. Okay, what was the name of the heirloom corn you can save seed? I think they're talking about sweet corn.
The sweet corn is Stowell Evergreen. Stowell Evergreen. Stowell Evergreen. It's a white sweet corn. It's really nice to eat. It's just like any other sweet corn. It's not the super sweets that you get like the Merritts or the G90s or the peaches and cream and all this kind of stuff has been altered. But it is an heirloom and it's pretty good. But now, just like all other sweet corn, when you pick your sweet corn, you've got about 1 hour from the time you pick it till it either needs to be in the freezer or you need to have it blanched and put in bags, because if you don't, the sugars in it will begin to turn to starches, and most people don't realize just how sweet corn really is because they pick it and wait hours before they get anything done, and the sugar in it's done turn to starch, so they don't really know how good their corn can taste.
All right, how do I keep my chickens cool? I have a 13-gallon water with the little nipples on it, but I have a big tub that I just run fresh water. I went out today and just ran fresh water in it. That way the water's cool. And yesterday I fed them some cucumbers that had been in the refrigerator, so they're cold.
Yeah.
And things like that, if you give them treats and you give them fresh, cool water and stuff like that, we've had no problems with our chickens except the fox last week got 2 because I didn't shut all of them up. I thought I did, and there was some out. So I did those two last
Southern
week.
Comfort Homestead says, how long do you let the Star of David pods grow? First year growing. Now, it depends on what you want to let them grow for. If you're growing them for eating, you don't want to let them get over about 2.5 to 3 inches long before you pick them. But if you're letting them grow to seeds, you just leave them on a plant till they dry.
Yeah. Let's see.
Ralph Arvin says, can you recommend a good but affordable corn grinder?
You talking about a hand one?
If you want a hand one,
the Victoria.
The Victoria is the one we have, and it does a good job, but it's really hard to turn if you want to get it down to like flour.
It takes and clamps onto a table, and if you don't have a really good sturdy table, it's hard to do. And then you have the old-fashioned kind.
I've got the Blackhawk that you can go to an old antique store and you can find them. The Blackhawk works really good.
All right, I was taught that you start the water boiling before you get the sweet corn and run back in and cook it. Yes, that would be true. That is the best taste if you do it real fast.
You just do it fast. Yeah.
If you're going to be putting sweet corn up, I would suggest, if you don't have very much help, it's just you, 25 to 50 ears is way more than you need. Go ahead and shuck it, put it in cold water, and get your boiling water ready, or ever how you do it, but I boil mine.
Boiling water and ice water is the two things you got to have.
I keep the corn in cold water. I put it over in the hot water 7 minutes, then I put it back in ice water until it cools off, 5 to 10 minutes, and then I cut it off and put it directly in the freezer. I mean, try to do it within 30 to 45 minutes, an hour tops. If you're taking all day to do corn and it's sitting out and around and about, it's going to start to turn to starch and eventually could sour.
Okay, Cami97 says, what work shoes do you recommend for working in the garden? Well, that just depends on you as an individual. I use LL Beans. They're quite pricey. Ms. Wanda uses Sloggers.
Sloggers.
Yeah, the Sloggers. They're waterproof. You can get the boots or you can get the shoes. She prefers the shoes, really.
Yeah, I've got some boots, but I've got 2 pair of the shoes. I prefer my Sloggers because I can go through anything wet. My feet don't get wet. I can slip them on, slip them off real easily. Sloggers has been the best thing I have for that kind of stuff.
How many? Lorraine says, how many corn plants do I need to get good pollination? Lorraine, corn is better planted in blocks rather than long rows. Don't just plant 1 or 2 rows. If you got a rough room, plant like 4 or 5 rows. If they ain't but 10 feet long, plant 4 or 5 of them together rather than planting just like 1 single row or 2 single rows, something like that. It's always better to plant them in blocks because they get a better pollination that way. It's not about the number, it's about planting in blocks.
Boo Dunk says, my potatoes are higher than my corn that is tasseling. What's up with that? We've got somebody down the road that has corn, and I swear the stalks look like this.
The stalks are no bigger than that pineapple.
They don't look like they're any bigger than this pineapple, and they've got corn on them. I'm like,
the little ears are about this big around and about yay long. The corn it can't be much over, a little over knee high.
Yeah.
I mean, the heat and the drought has about destroyed it. Now, it's a GMO corn. I can look at it and tell, but it is pitiful. I mean, it is just pure pitiful.
Fred Lumpkin from Poplarville.
Mr. Lumpkin. I used to know a Lumpkin that ran Lumpkin's Auto Parts. I lived in Poplarville for 10 years.
And I had my mom's first cousin bought Lumpkin's Auto Parts, Clyde Robbins. So, yeah, we knew a few people around. Yeah, almost all farm animals love watermelons. Any kind of melons or any extra produce you have that you're not using. Like, we had a lot of cucumbers that got too big, and I just put them over in the fridge, and I just took them out to the chickens, and they love it because they're cold.
Camper Jack says, any tricks to get Cherokee tan pumpkins to set flowers? Jack, what we've realized is right now our Cherokee tan pumpkins are not really setting anything. It's just too hot. We realized that once it starts going into the fall season, ours mainly put on their pumpkins in the fall when it starts to cool off a little bit at night.
Jean Blair wants to know, any idea why my Amish tomatoes are not fruiting when the plants are 5 feet tall?
Jean, the biggest issue with tomatoes not fruiting is heat. When you start getting over about 85 to 90 degrees in that range, tomatoes will just drop their blossoms. They don't really set fruit very well. They set fruit best at around 70 to 75 degrees. And that's why if we go plant tomatoes, our tomatoes are out just as soon as the frost quit happening. And usually by June, they're over. We don't even fool with them anymore.
Yeah, we don't do tomatoes this time of the year. So David wants to know, do we worry about GMO corn corrupting our seed stock?
No.
Not really. There's
not
nobody
really, because
around here that plants
there's
anything.
nobody where I plant my corn at that plants any GMO corn. And plus, I plant so early that nobody else is planting anything but maybe a little sweet corn or something. Because there's a worm issue I talked to y'all about in the beginning about the earworms and all. If you don't get it in at a specific time, you will end up with earworms all in your corn and all that kind of stuff. And like I was telling y'all, Wanda and I have been through several hundred ears of the Danny corn, and we have not found one that has an earworm sign in it yet.
All right, Mr. Fred wants to know, do I freeze dry sweet corn? No. I don't freeze dry any corn at all. Not really. We don't really put up a lot of corn except for grits and cornmeal. We don't keep a lot throughout the year.
Reap What You Sow Gardening says, Danny, why is my zucchini not making female flowers? If it's not making any female flowers, son, probably you have a lack of pollinators, because when you have a lack of pollinators, what happens is a plant continues to put on all male blooms that attracts pollinators, and once the plant realizes that the pollinators are there, then it will put on the female blooms. And when you have something like that, it's usually a lack of pollinators.
All right, Sheila wants to know, are sweet potatoes supposed to keep flowering or just flower once?
Oh, they'll just keep on flowering all summer long. They don't just, ours, gosh.
They flower for a while.
They flower for most of the summer, to be honest with you.
Yeah, somebody else says their sweet potatoes bloom constantly. Yeah. Can I plant pumpkin in August in Greensboro, North Carolina?
Probably not, because pumpkins are a 125-day plant. Most of them are around, well, you can get some 90-day ones, but most of them are 125 plus. And in North Carolina, I don't think you got 125 days before the first frost. Let's see here. Rochelle says, worms have helped to kill my summer squashes. I'm going to try again for fall. I think you must be talking about squash vine borers. If squash vine borers are your problems, try use some fish emulsion with some Dr. Earth's Bloom and Grow. Golden Bloom? Ah! I thought I had it right that time. I'm sorry, Kayla, I messed up again.
I knew you were going to do that.
But with the Golden Bloom from Dr. Earth, the stuff stinks so bad that literally it keeps the squash vine borers away from ours.
But you can put pieces of aluminum around the base when they're small, and that helps too. They can't get to the base of your plant. Or we've used toilet paper rolls. We've cut them in little pieces and slid them over the plant when the plant is small, and let the plant grow through that toilet paper thing, and usually the worms won't get in there.
Carolyn says, my crazy Seminole pumpkins were volunteers and growing in my Danny corn patch. Okay, we got the Cherokee tans growing in ours right now. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, all this you read about pumpkins help the spininess of the pumpkin stems and all helps keep things like raccoons and all out of corn. There ain't no truth to that, because my raccoons are eating. They still come into the Danny corn, And there's no truth to the fact that if you leave a coon in a cornfield when you kill him, the other coons won't come around. I killed one last night that was 4 foot from the one I killed the night before, so there's no truth to that either.
Would golden bloom help the sweet potatoes bloom?
Yes, because sweet potatoes are a root crop, and root crops need high phosphorus, so golden bloom is a high phosphorus fertilizer, so yes, it will help any root crop.
Okay, so Empress Jennifer says she sprinkles flour over her potato and squash plants and it kills the bugs and doesn't bother the plants.
Okay,
there's
be
a
careful.
problem because I found it out, was it last year?
Wanda killed all of our stuff last year, plus she burnt our soil.
Yeah.
Because what we don't realize is
in the high tunnel,
a lot of the flour that you buy from the grocery store has been sprayed with Roundup.
Yep.
And when you put flour on your plants or around your plants or in your soil, if you happen to get some that has been sprayed with Roundup, which we did, then it kills the plants. It messes the ground up where nothing will grow. Our Freedom blackberries, we had some of them come up. The leaves are just curling all up on them from the herbicide. We couldn't figure
out exactly what it was to start with. And I had some old flour and some old cornmeal and some old Hasa Marina, which is cornmeal.
Yeah.
And
which is corn flour.
Yeah. And so I went out there and was sprinkling it all over things in our high tunnels to kill the bugs. And several plants just started dying. And then the Freedom blackberries would come back out and they would just start curling. And Danny said, "What did you put in there?" And I said, "Well, I don't remember putting anything." And then I thought about the flour and the cornmeal that we had bought in town.
Yeah.
It had been in the freezer for 2 or 3 years, and we hadn't used it because we have our own cornmeal, and I don't use flour very often anyway. So that was some that was really old.
Yeah.
And so be very careful what you do with stuff bought in the store. Just saying. Fox News had a clip on the Amish being the healthiest
people now. Government trying to silence them. I yelled out, they haven't seen Deep South Homestead. I'm not saying we're the healthiest people in the world.
I would be not the healthiest.
Yeah.
We got our issues.
And I'll tell you what, right now, y'all can believe me or you don't have to believe me. I don't really care either way. Wheat flour from the store is not made for human consumption, okay? I have actually talked to the scientists at the mills where they mill wheat flour at. Not one of the scientists has told me that wheat flour is for human consumption.
But they feed it to people all day.
They all told me that it's for animal consumption, not human consumption. And I told them, I said, well, I don't feed my animals nothing. I don't eat myself. I don't eat wheat flour. I don't want anything that has wheat flour in it. I don't eat anything breaded with it, nothing, because I know it's toxic. That's why the old expression comes, the whiter the bread, the faster you're dead.
Yeah, explain the process. Can you do that where they know?
Oh, my word.
He's explained it before.
I've explained it before, but Lord, it's such a long process if I can remember it. Okay. When they plant the wheat, they treat the ground with a fungicide so that the wheat doesn't go through a process that causes it not to come up. In case the
fungicide will kill
the fungicide gets rid of anything that keeps the wheat from rotting in the soil.
Yeah, that's it.
Then when the wheat comes up, they spray it again to keep any insects from eating the wheat or getting started in it. Then when it starts making its seed head, they spray it with estrogen to make the seed heads really pop and grow really big and really large. And then when it gets to full maturity, they spray it with Roundup to actually kill it so that it all dies and dries at the same rate, so that when they harvest it, they don't have some seeds that are not dry, some that are dry. And then they take it and they bring it, and when they put it into the elevators, they spray it again with another chemical to keep insects out of it, and to keep it, they spray another chemical to keep it from going through a heat and actually to actually keep it from ruining. Guys, it's unreal at how many chemicals is sprayed on just wheat alone.
And if they do that to the wheat, can you imagine the other vegetables? Just to get it up, if it's not an organic farm, and even organic they are leeways. There's a lot of slack there with a lot of them, and some organic can be using types of fungicides.
Yeah, some of your organics even use some of that type of stuff.
So you have to be careful.
Jane Clay, tall hickory king corn, all stalks and tassels, no silks. Why? Extreme heat. We had that happen to the Danny corn last year. Mm-hmm. The extreme heat. Now, gamma radiation, I saw a comment about this a while ago. Gamma radiation is playing a huge part in this because the Earth's magnetic fields are weakening. The Earth is absorbing more radiation through its poles, and it's coming back out through the soil. So gamma rays are playing a little bit of a factor in this because the USDA is experimenting with gamma rays on seeds and how it's affecting the roots of the plants and stuff like this. So, guys, that's why I'm urging people to, if you can, plant what you want in containers up off the ground and try to do your best. I mean, the things like corn and Cherokee tan pumpkins, things like this really needs to be planted in the ground, squash and stuff. I mean, it can be planted in containers, and squash will do pretty good. It's just that they won't last a long, long time in a container.
Several of them are asking about different types of flour and different types of things. You would have to check with the farmer that grows it.
Yeah, call the company.
You can call, like if you ordered it from Campbell's, and you call Campbell's, they're going to give you the runaround.
Yeah.
But you got to find out where your wheat comes from and try and find out.
Yes. I actually had a 50-pound bag of wheat berries, and it had the name of the company on it. It had the lot number. It had everything on it. I called the company because these were wheat berries that people were eating, and they donated a 50-pound bag to me. And I called that company, and that man told me, that scientist told me, he said, please tell me you're not eating this stuff. And I said, well, lots of people are. They got it stored in their freezers. And he said, oh my God. He said, no. He said, this is not for human consumption. Please tell them don't eat no more wheat.
And they had been eating it for a year.
Oh yeah, they've been eating on it all year. He said, it'll destroy your digestive tract in your body. He said, that leaky gut syndrome, all this is going to come from that.
So somebody said, what flour do you use for like pie crust? I don't make pie crust.
We don't make pie crust or anything like that.
I used to make bread, and then Danny went gluten-free, so I make gluten-free bread, and I learned how to make it with, I think I used Bob's Red Mill for a while.
Yeah.
And then I learned to make almond biscuits and different things like that, and even that was messing with Danny's system after a while, so we quit with all the almond flour and all that kind of stuff, and he doesn't eat any bread at all. I eat limited bread. I'll buy something if I want something. I don't make anything anymore. I don't hardly ever keep flour here. It's just something we just don't do anymore. Corn flour. That's our big thing. I make
our
corn
biggest
muffins.
thing is corn flour.
I've learned to make sweet corn muffins. We make cornbread. I use the corn flour in almost everything, and for the most part, you really don't know. I don't make bread because there's no point in it. We eat cornbread.
Yeah. So Sheila says einkorn. I'm sorry, I always say einkorn. Einkorn is bad too. If you can find the old original einkorn flour seeds, wheat seeds, that is not bad. It has a very low gluten index in it. But the problem is, unless you've got a really big area to grow it in and you can keep the birds out of it, you're probably not going to grow enough to do yourself any good.
Yeah. So, with almond flour, chickpea flour, bean flour, anything you get, you got to call the company.
You got to call the company.
It's up to you to do the research, because I can't tell you. I don't have a clue where you get it from and what's going on. And if you raise it yourself, you know. That's all I can tell you.
You just got to call them. Look, and you got to be specific about how you word your questions. because they've been trained to answer questions in specific ways if you don't use the right terms. Like if you call and you say, what is the, not GMO, but,
I forgot what you're thinking.
my mind just went blank on it.
I don't know what you're thinking.
But you know, I called the company and they got like 5 different words for one word.
Well, this is one of them, aspartame. If
Yes.
you call the company and you say, does your product have aspartame in it? They're going to tell you, no, it does not. But when you get to looking and you look up aspartame, there's 500 new words for aspartame. And you look on your label and one of them's listed. If you call them back and you say, okay, it says you have this in your product, they'll say, yes, we have that. And you said, but I asked you, did it have aspartame? And you told me no. And they said, well, it doesn't have aspartame. It has this. But they're both the same. So you have to know the names. You have to know names for everything and how many different names they call it.
Yeah, you just need to call the company yourself. I called Quaker Oats. I went through the ringer with them people. I've called the Jello gelatin people. I mean, look, I'll call them, and I don't mind calling them, and I'll give them. They try to give me the runaround. I know the language, and I know the words to use, and eventually they come clean before it's over with. Usually.
MSG's the other one.
Yeah, MSGs, monosodium glutamate.
You ask, do they use that? And they'll tell you no.
They'll tell you no. You said, do you have MSGs? They'll say, no, we don't use MSGs. There's about 5 or 6 different words that they use for MSG, which MSG's been around since the 50s. It was the first implemented as a little shaker thing called Accent, and you can still get it today in the grocery store. It's monosodium glutamate. It's a drug that tricks the brain into thinking that is the best tasting stuff you've ever had.
Lay's potato chips
McDonald's uses it on their foods. All your fast food stores and fast food restaurants, they sprinkle that stuff in all their foods and stuff like that. And you think, oh my gosh, this is the best French fries in the world. No, they just have MSGs on them.
Yeah, and that was very, very popular back in the 70s, I think, and 80s. So, Little Rock Star Girl, thank you for the super chat.
Okay.
Our yard has been run over by black ants and is killing our grass. I believe it is because of the drought. Suggestion on how to get rid of them.
Boric acid on black ants, boric acid and a little bit of sugar in it. Usually will do the trick with black ants, but I'm gonna be honest with you, with the modification of everything going on in the world today, it may not work with them.
And too, with the grass, we've learned to leave the grass alone.
Don't mow it. Don't mow your grass. When it's hot, we quit mowing our grass. Our grass is about knee deep right now, and we refuse to mow it. Our fruit trees are flourishing. They're doing 10 times better. The ones that we mowed around are looking wimpy and puny. The ones that we don't mow around are just thriving. They got beautiful green leaves on them because the sun is not just baking the dirt.
Once it starts raining, like it rained today, but Daniel checked the forecast. If it's not going to rain for a while, we're still not going to mow.
Right.
But if it's going to rain again toward like middle of the week or something, we might get out and cut it high. Don't cut it down real low. Cut it. What do you usually cut on?
I cut mine about 2.5 inches high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't skin the ground. Let's see.
Oh.
I've learned all the ingredients that have gluten cause DAD. My dad had celiac and sister does too. Yes.
Let me tell you something. A lot of your gluten issues and celiacs is not caused by gluten. A lot of it is simply caused because of the chemicals that they spray on it, like Roundup and different things like that they spray on these crops. You have more of an issue with the chemical, which is leading to the gut issue, and the doctors are calling it a gluten issue when really it's a chemical issue.
Yeah.
Would 75% vinegar kill fire ants? I've never seen 75% vinegar. I've seen agricultural vinegar be 45%. But if you had 75% vinegar, you got some bad, bad vinegar.
Okay, so somebody was asking, was Bob's red meal, oatmeal, and stuff good? We've used all of that.
Yeah.
I think theirs is probably reasonably safe, but you can call and ask. We use Bob's red meal quite a bit. I still buy. I've got some of the what do you call them? Not rolled oats. Steel
cut oats. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some of those. And I do buy some of the Bob's Red Mill corn flour and some of that stuff. We have our own, but I also have a backup.
Yeah.
I always have a backup.
Oh, let's see. Read What You Sow Gardening says, Mr. Danny, what tropical fruit can I grow in North Carolina? That's kind of hard for me because I don't know what your microclimates are there. I mean, you might be able to grow.
Tropical fruits are hard to grow.
Tropical fruits are hard to grow for us in the deep south. I mean,
this year we're having a lot of good luck because it's extremely hot and humid.
We are having fantastic luck with our tropical fruits right now.
I've got morning glory vines growing in my garden. Does that hurt anything?
Kathleen, morning glories, if you let them go to seed, you'll have 1,000 times more next year. You need to get them out before they go to seed and dry.
Yeah.
The Pioneer Farmhouse with Patricia said, aspartame caused me serious health problems I got when I could not walk or use my hands, and the pain was horrible. I am more cautious about what we consume. Yes, I mean, I could go into a long list of things about aspartame with you, how that when until it reaches, at 87 degrees, when you get above 87 degrees, it becomes toxic. And inside drinks and stuff like that, it's not 87 degrees, but your body temperature is 96.8. And when it gets to that temperature, it turns into wood alcohol in the blood system. And then from that point, it goes to the eyes. It causes you to have eye problems. And then if the blood turns it into formaldehyde, which is a preservative that's used to preserve human bodies after they die. I mean, it turns into all these things in the human body once it goes through different heat levels. And guys, aspartame is dangerous.
All right, Miss Sylvia from Rocking Chair Society says she's in the hospital with a blood clot in her lower leg, so we need to remember her.
Oh, we need to remember her, yeah.
Reap What You Sow. Sweet potatoes are in the morning glory family.
Yeah.
But morning glories are not sweet potatoes.
No, they're not.
All right, so we've had quite a few people putting up a few prayer requests. We want to remember Miss Lippy for sure. BJ, Lisa sent me a
what's
message
going on with him?
On BJ. The treatments they're doing are working. He's feeling better. He went for a scan, and it was clear.
Oh, okay.
So BJ Hoskins.
Hoskins.
I always try to put a P in there, but Hoskins, a friend of ours from Tennessee, we want to say, praise the Lord for a praise report.
That's a praise report. BJ's a great guy, y'all. He's a
wonderful singer.
He's got a fantastic voice. I mean, I'm telling you, he's the guy, the brother. He's a brother. I call him a brother in Christ. He's been here. He's in Nashville with all the big stars up there, and he's been here. He has sang for us at our house.
We thought he was better in Alabama.
Actually, I think he did a better job on the song than Randy Owens did. So, I mean, don't tell Randy I said that, but I mean, it's the honest truth.
But we do. We love Lisa and BJ. And,
yeah.
So that was a praise report on him. We want to remember Brian from Flannel Farms having surgery Monday. Lippy has a toothache, so we want to remember her. Trying to think who else has said anything. I don't know. Several people were putting up some prayer requests.
Dennis, you can actually take your Jimmy Red off as soon as it starts falling and hanging down. As long as the shucks on it are turned brown, you can actually take it off. If you've got a place to dry it, you can't pile it up now. I mean, I've got some corn dryers. We got a video we're going to be doing here pretty soon on corn dryers, and we're letting ours dry that way. Or you can cut the stalks and hang it upside down in the barn and just let them dry that way. But yes, you can take it off if you're afraid something's going to happen to it. Let's see here. Let me catch up with some of them. Titus says her grandpa always called morning glories bindweed, and it will. We got a little bit of it started in our cornfield over at Pecan Grove, and it just winds itself around the corn stalk. But what happens is when the ear gets ready to break and fall down, it can't, and then water gets in the top of it, and it will actually rot. Hippie Girl says, when do you pick your pineapples? Well, we pick them when they look like this. I mean, when they get completely orange or yellow. We don't pick them if they got any green on them. We let them ripen totally because
it smells wonderful.
I'm telling you.
When you walk, like we walk into the greenhouse, you smell it and you know they're about ready.
Yeah.
But now we picked one, about 5 or 6 years ago when Two Family Homestead and I can't remember. It was about 5 or 6 different
That's
people.
Elizabeth and Emily.
Yeah. Bee Lady. I don't know. There were several people. We were having a gathering. They were here at our house that night, and we thought it was fixing to turn extremely cold the next morning. So at 10 o'clock at night, when they were leaving, Danny went out and picked one of our pineapples that was outside.
Yeah, it's supposed to freeze that night, and I went and picked it. Yeah.
And so it wasn't. It had just had a tinge of color. It wasn't ready. And he said, I may be doing the wrong thing. We let it ripen on the countertop, and it was good. But when you ripen them on the plant, they're better. They're sweeter. Amazing.
Becky Morris says, y'all make sure you check your vinegar percentages when you buy it. Seeing reports of stores selling 4%. We actually did a video on that a year ago. We knew about it whenever the industry started doing it a year ago.
I think we talked about it on live stream or something way on back.
Way back there. We knew what the companies were trying to do then, and you do have to watch when you get it because you need at least 5% vinegar if you're going to be, using it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we're ready to go ahead and pray, and y'all remember these people that are asking for prayer. And let's see, Hills Mill, welcome. You can watch this live at a later date to see anything you missed.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just telling her how to come in later and watch. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys, we're gonna pray because we done went way over our time here. So, Father, Lord, we just thank you so much for just loving us. I mean, sometimes that's a difficult chore within itself with people. People have some, and including us, we have some really funny ways about us sometimes, and sometimes it's hard to love some people. And Father, you've commanded us to love one another. And Lord, I just pray that tonight that is something that we can share and we can do, and Father, we can bask in it and just enjoy it when we do it. Now, Father, we also want to take this opportunity. We got some praise reports tonight. We want to thank you and praise you for coming through and answering prayer. BJ got some good reports back, and other people have mentioned some good results from different things that people we've talked to. And we want to take this opportunity and we want to say thank you for good praise reports, Lord. I mean, for actually answering prayer. Thank you so much for that. We know that prayer works, and that's why we spend most of our time in prayer over many, many issues. And Father, there's been lots of people here tonight who's put up prayer requests. We've got friends from the YouTube channels, Ms. Lippy and Flannel Farm, all of them having some health issues, going to be going into surgery, having some dangerous surgeries, really. And we just pray, Father, for their healing and guiding of the surgeon's hands, and anyone else who's got to go into the hospital for any kind of surgical procedure. I just pray, Lord, you'll just guide the surgeon's hands and let the surgery go well. And Father, other people having all types of other issues, and lots of people are fighting cancer, and going through treatments and all kinds of different things, Lord. And my heart goes out to them, Father, because I spent years and years dealing with this and done tons and tons of research into these things, and not happy with a lot of the results that I found, but Father, I know that still you're the great physician and you can heal, Father. And Father, I just pray for the condition that we're under in this country right now. I pray for your people, not necessarily the country as a whole, but I'm praying for your people, Father. Because if we don't lift up one another, nobody else will do it for us. So I'm lifting up your people, Father, asking that you bless them tonight. Give them the strength, help, finances, Lord, all the things that they need to be able to live a full and prosperous and healthy life. And those that are still gardening, Father, I pray that you bless their gardens and their crops. All of us that's dealing with this heat and this drought, we know that next week it's coming back. It's not going to go away. This time it's going to go all the way up into Canada, and it's going to come all the way over to the East Coast, and Lord, it's just going to be bad. And we just pray that we can all find some kind of relief from this. And Lord, that you'll override the wickedness that goes on in this world and cause our weather to go back to being a more natural pattern now. So love us, and Father, most of all, forgive us where we failed you, because we're not perfect, and so many times we make so many mistakes. So do forgive us for that, and we'll be careful to give you the honor and the glory. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
You gonna have a tip, or had you thought about a tip?
Oh wow.
No.
Okay. Sweet Pea says it's storming down outside of New Orleans. We had some of that come through a while ago. The Canadian bush smoke is dying down. Read what you so says. I mean, for y'all it is, but I know that there's probably some that's not. Oh man. Let's see here.
Ooh, my new Tennessee home said their sister-in-law was in the hospital, got bit twice by a copperhead.
Wow.
Yeah, and some people wanted to know, we were in the sweet potato patch, were we worried about snakes, and really Danny and I don't worry that much. We don't have a huge snake problem.
No.
Usually we see one or two a year. Most of the rattlesnakes have been killed. A lot of the water moccasins. Now,
yeah.
As dry as it is,
we do have to watch for moccasins in the corn, the old highland moccasins, because the rats will come to the corn and the snakes will come for the rats. So that's one thing we do have to watch for. But our corn rows are not really too thick with grass or anything.
Yeah, they stayed pretty where you can see for the most part.
Okay, everybody wants a tip. Oh my word.
Don't accept wooden nickels.
Don't accept a wooden nickel. Look, guys, let me say something. It's been hot, okay? It's been really, really hot. And I guess if I have a tip for tonight, it'll be this. Don't get frustrated with your gardening. It's the time of the year it is. When you get into July and August, gardening seems to fade out for a lot of people. Depending on where you're at in the country. Now, the further south you are, it gets to be really bad down here. But now people up north can start their fall stuff in late August, early September. They can kind of get going with that because their nighttime temperatures begin to cool off. But don't get frustrated, because I'm hearing a lot of people, get messages and stuff. People saying, it's just so hot. My gardens are all dying. I feel like a failure. No, don't feel like a failure. Just learn to get an earlier start with your gardens. Try to start your plants indoors earlier in the year. Try to get them up and growing so that when the weather becomes conducive that you can get them out, you can actually put your plants out and already have them growing real well. I mean, I do that with my okra. We do it with tomatoes, peppers, our sweet potatoes, things like this, cucumbers, anything like that. Guys, the only thing we really can't do that with is things like our corn and things to that nature. Even our Cherokee tan pumpkins. We tried one year getting them started real early, and then found out they still didn't make no pumpkins till fall. So
it took them a long time.
Took them a long time. So I guess if my tip is just don't get frustrated with the heat, because trust me, it's gonna get hotter before it gets better. We've got heat domes building in this United States. It's gonna go slam into Canada, and people in Canada is gonna see 100-degree temperature. People in Nebraska and all up in there, Utah, and all up through there, you're gonna see Colorado. Y'all gonna see 100-degree temperatures. Missouri, all up through there, Kansas. Y'all are going to bake. Literally, y'all are going to get the weather that we have down here on a regular basis in the summer, and you're not used to it. And my heart goes out to you, because that's the bread belt of the United States, is all up in those areas. And I'm looking to have, literally, a lot of stuff's going to get parched. It's going to just be, burnt up probably. And it's not going away. It's going to ride up, and it's going to come over the Ohio Valley over in there. Y'all are going to experience some of this heat too. But the good thing about it is, you're going to get some cool shots of air every so often, jumping down through the center of the country, down through the Ohio River Basin, down through there, all the way down into Tennessee, and even into North Mississippi, and back up. We're going to get some cool shots of air going to jump down in there.
In about 3 months, they're going to get some cold weather. And
yeah,
in about cooling off, and y'all get some cold, and then y'all going to be wishing you had a little bit of the heat, because it's going to get really cold.
We're in an El Nino pattern right now, and the people in the central part of the United States, and I say central, I'm talking about from Missouri over to probably Pennsylvania, all the way to the East Coast over in there, you're going to wish it was warm again, because you're going to get some weather this year that is ungodly cold. If an El Nino pattern stays strong, trust me, it's going to be bad. Now, all of y'all's up there in Spokane, Washington, and all up and down that western coastline over there, you're going to have some cold weather, but you also going to have some heat. Because an El Nino pattern usually runs up real on a high ridge on a positive ANO, and it's going, or on a negative ANO, and you come back down into the central part of the United States, just going to freeze. And us down here in the deep south, well, we're going to just get wishy-washy weather. And we're going to be wet, probably more than we should.
Cold all at once,
we're going to probably
back to hot.
Colder than we should. But then you're going to have what I call your battle zone areas, like North Mississippi, which I tell y'all, the 33rd to the 35th parallel, through that area through there in an El Nino pattern, is what I call the battle zone. That's where you're going to have your severe weather at. And it ain't nothing you can do about it. It's an El Nino year. It's a normal thing. So,
Lisa wants to know, how do I trim herbs when I need them for cooking? From the bottom, middle, or top?
From the top.
From the top, always.
You always trim your herbs from the top.
All right, so we have got to go.
Yep.
I don't like snow a whole lot, because it's pretty the first day, and after that, I don't like it.
It's nasty.
Here in South Mississippi, it turns to a gray mush.
Mush, yeah.
And it's just awful. Awful. It's pretty when it first hits the ground and it's white looking, and then the gray mush comes, and then if it freezes over, you've got a frozen gray solid block of ice.
It looks nasty.
It's not pretty. All
right.
So we got to go, guys.
Yes.
And we hope y'all have a good week. Y'all just remember Danny's birthday this week. It'll be, gosh, I don't even know what day. Where's my calendar?
Today is
Monday.
Today's the 22nd. Saturday, Sunday, it'll be Monday then. Yeah.
Monday's your birthday.
Monday's my birthday.
Yeah, I don't have no video made, but on his birthday, celebrating your birthday. He don't care anyway.
I don't really care. I've never been one that celebrated birthdays. I don't believe in that stuff. The Hebrew, when I studied Hebrew, and I believe that this is what really fascinated me about the Hebrew language. The Hebrew people do not celebrate birthdays. They celebrate the death of a person. In not the birth of a person. And I thought that was highly unusual. What happened to my thing right here?
Now I'm fixing to get it back.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I thought that was highly unusual. But I don't celebrate all these holidays and stuff like that. I got too much to do in my own time to be worried with a stupid holiday. So.
Yeah, he don't do nothing special on his birthday. We don't do nothing special any day, hardly.
Every day to me is the same. One day is just the same as the other to me. I don't.
He just gets another day older. Somebody says, how old? Tell him how old. Bottom to top.
Bottom to top, I'm older than 63 and I'm younger than 70. How about that? Oh.
Love you guys.
Love
we'll
you
talk
guys.
to y'all later.